Geometry 8.3, we're talking about special right triangles. So there's special degrees of right triangles. And there's two theorems that we're going to go over, theorem 8.6 and 8.7. Basically, they are right triangles that have specific degrees. In this case, this triangle is called the 45, 45, 90. So both of them have 90 in it. But this one's 45, 45, which means it's an isosceles triangle. Their legs are the same, and then you have the hypotenuse. This is called the 30, 60, 90, which is, it has a shorter leg, a longer leg, and a hypotenuse. And their ratios are a little different, okay? Let's start with this one. And this one we're dealing with root 2. Root 2 is the only difference between our leg and hypotenuse, so root 2 is a magic number. And I'll tell you what we're going to be doing with our magic number, so just keep that tucked away. And in this case, since we have root 3 and 2n, we have 2 and root 3 as both of our magic numbers. So here has two possibilities, this has one. And in this case, everything compared to short leg. So that means when we're doing comparisons, in this case when we're finding direction, you always have to include the short leg, okay? So what that means is I can't go from hypotenuse to long leg or long leg to hypotenuse because they have two magic numbers. So I always have to have one magic number and the other one has no magic number so that I can relate them. And you'll understand what that means. Just keep in mind that in this case, everything needs to be compared to short leg. So this is the key. This is how you find out the measurements when you find these kind of triangles. The first thing is to find direction. So basically you're going to decide, am I going from hypotenuse to leg? Am I going from leg to hypotenuse? The next thing is you're going to decide, am I going from a bigger to a smaller or smaller to bigger? For example, if I'm going to a hypotenuse, if I have the hypotenuse, so when I say I'm going to, that means I have something and I'm missing something. So if I have the hypotenuse, the measurement for the hypotenuse, but I want to find the leg, then I'm going to go from hypotenuse to leg, that'd be my direction. But then I go, hypotenuse is bigger than leg, so I'm going to go from big to small, so I'm going to be dividing. For example, here, if I'm going from short leg to hypotenuse, that means they gave me the measurement of the short leg, but I want to find the hypotenuse. I have to then go from here, on the second one, this would be from short leg to hypotenuse, but it would go from small to big, and I would be multiplying. So number 2, I'm deciding whether I'm going to divide or multiply. But what am I going to divide and multiply? That's where the magic number comes in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and divide. For example, if I'm going from hypotenuse to leg, I know hypotenuse to leg, it's from big to small. So I'm going to divide the number, divide whatever my hypotenuse is, okay, with the magic number of root 2. And finally I'm going to apply it and find my answer. Now this might be a little confusing at first, but when we do an actual example, you'll see it's a piece of cake. Just make sure that you follow the key and follow the steps. Now it's a lot of steps, but I want, especially in the homework, you to do, each and every step so that you can show me. We're going to do an example. Please pause this and go ahead and write it down. Okay, and don't forget the vocabulary. So we'll do our example problem. Okay, so this one is this one is example 1, and basically they give me that this is 30, but they don't tell me what this is. Well, I can find out by doing 180 minus 90, which is 90, minus 30, so 90 minus 30 is 60. So this is 60 degrees. Okay, so this is a 30, 60, 90. Now, once I've located the triangle, I'm going to go ahead, go back in your notes, and figure out what we're going to do. The one rule that the 30, 60, 90 says that we always compare everything to the short leg. So let's find A first. Okay? We're going to find A, which is the short leg. And the short is always the one from 90 to 60. When it's hard to tell, it's always the one from 90 to 60. The long leg is from 90 to 30. Okay? So 90, 60 is the short leg. This is my long leg. And this is my hypotenuse. In this case, I always have to relate things to the short leg. So I can't go straight to hypotenuse. So I have to go from 18. I have 18 and I want to find A. I have and I want. So I have 18 and I want to find A. So that means the first step I have to find the direction. So I'm going, this 18 is my long, and I want to find my short. Okay? The second step is then asking me to decide between big or small or big. This is the long to short. Longer side is bigger than the shorter side, so I'm going big to small. So I'm going to be dividing. Yes? And then the third one is to find the magic number. And in this case, from long to short, if you look back on your notes, from long to short, the magic number is root 3. So now I'm going to apply it. This is how I'm going to apply it. Pay attention. I'm going to take this number 18. Let me find another color. Sorry, all my markers are like sprawled on the floor. And I'm a little broken. Okay. So, what that means, I'm going to take 18, the number from the first one, and it goes long to short. I'm going big to small, so I'm going to divide it, okay, by this number. So I'm going to take the number it's given, divide it by this, divide it by this number, and it should give me A. Okay? So 18 divided by root 3, and if I divide it, your answer should be 10.6. I believe. Let's check. Root 3. You can put that into decimal. So 18 divided by root 3, which is 1.7, is 10.3. 10.39 or 10.4. And that is A. Alright? See how that works? Okay. Let's try the other side now that we have this one. We know that this is 10.4. So let's try the other one. Again, my first step, I always have to relate everything to short. So I can't go from long to hypotenuse, but I can go from short to hypotenuse. I can go from 10.4 to C, which is short to hypotenuse. Okay? That means short to hypotenuse. That means my second one is I'm going from small to big. So that means I'm going to be multiplying, which is a little bit more fun. I'm multiplying. And then my third step is to find that magic number. So I'm going to go back to my notes, and it says I'm going from short to hypotenuse, and the number between short and hypotenuse is 2. So to wrap it up, just like I did here, I'm going to take this first number, number 4, when I apply things. I'm going to take this first number, okay, and then I'm going to take what I'm supposed to do with it, which is multiply by this number. Oh, this is 10.4. Okay, so I'm going to do 10.4. This would give me 20.8 is C. Okay, so my answer is 10.4 and 20.8. So you see, if you just go through the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, it should give you all of the information that you need to find this. Now, a lot of you guys are going to want to skip it, but it's good to get into the habit of it. So go ahead. I'm going to give you an easier one, page 451, number 2. This will allow you to try the 45, 45, 90. That one is easier because there's only one magic number, which is root 2, I believe. Yes. And I'll see you in class.